Welcome back to another scooter video, guys. So I'm Jazz, and if you haven't seen any of my videos before, I'm building a right weird creation of a Suzuki Bergman joined at the hip with a 1960s Vespa. It's gonna be like over 7 foot long, 3.5 inches or something off the floor. Yeah, and it should be pretty cool if you're into that thing. So in the last video, we've started on the front suspension. Go make it completely from scratch. So I started by using the standard Vespa steering tube. Had to extend it a bit. And then the next thing I was going to do is extend it even more, but at a different angle. Now in that video I did say I was going to make it more like boxy, just out of like 5mm thick sheet metal, I think. If you can call 5mm sheet metal. I changed my mind. So in the end, I made it tubular. So this is an offcut of it after I've trimmed it down. So I've welded two together, this 1.5 inch pipe, about 3mm thick or something, which you can see Luke welding up by here. This was where it wasn't trimmed. It's gonna probably be heavier, maybe. I think it'll be stronger than what I was originally gonna do. And I think the main thing for me is gonna suit the lines of the bike more, being that it's got two curved edges on it. Because what I'll probably do is plate the middles up, so it's kind of like an oval shape. I think that'll look much better than having a flipping big box at the bottom of the steering tube. We gotta join that now onto the bottom of this to extend the steering tube down. If we welded it on like that, then it would be perfectly centered, and you know, I wouldn't have to do a lot. And I already tested it out, it clears. But that would make the scooter about 8.5 foot long, and yeah, it would look like a chopper front end on it then. The wheel spaced right up far front. It looked flipping shit. It didn't look... Some people might have liked it, but I didn't. So we ain't doing that. We're doing what I originally thought, and to have it at a different angle. So it'd be like that. So that one is coming down. The standard one's coming down to that angle, whatever it is, and then that one will be vertical. So now I gotta find a way of notching two of these around that. I basically just lined it up by eye. Drew a line there where I seen that this pipe lines up with that one, and then another line there where that one intersects. Measured the width of that, so that's these lines and them lines. I don't know how I'm gonna cut this line out yet though. Now I'm doing all this as accurate as I possibly can, but in engineering kind of terms, it's gonna be as far from accurate as you could probably go. And any engineers watching this are gonna probably laughing, just like, that ain't straight, that ain't straight. But yeah, we're just gonna do it like this for now. There's a lot of eyeballing, some measuring, and at least if I do another one, or if I completely bugger this front suspension up, I can see where I've gone wrong then, and that's how you learn from it, and then we can do a better one.
A few moments later.
Right, first go, it is flipping miles off. We're on the right lines, but also not. You can see there's flipping gap at the back, and yeah, I've cut it too flipping wide in the middle as well, so hopefully on the next cut I can minimize that. I think the back is right, but shit, we ain't cut enough out of the front for it to you know, come far enough that way. I think I've done it, but it took me 4 attempts maybe, and I probably lost about 2 inches in the length of the tube, because I just kept going further and further down. But luckily enough, now it's kind of like the right width. Yeah, I don't know how the hell I would have worked that out to to cut that like it is now from the very start. I basically had to cut it wrong to then work out how I had to cut it right, and it probably ain't flipping bang on now. So I hold it like that, then there's not a lot of, you know, obviously it moves around like that, so that's pretty much where it's got to be. One thing I have noticed, I don't know whether I can pick it up on the camera, is this bit ain't in the center of this anymore, but whether this is dead center, I don't flipping know, and this might be kicking off a little bit. I just wanted to show you real quick some of the things I've ordered. I've actually ordered the shocks for it. They haven't turned up yet because they're coming from Germany, and I've ordered some bushes for this bottom pivot part for the front swing arm. Polyurethane bushes, so yeah, 3 pieces. You got the 2 poly bits and then a steel insert in the middle. So now I need a piece of bar now, the same as that, but longer. Basically, weld at the bottom of that. Because if you imagine, you got the 2 sides of the swing arm, then you have your 2 bushes, and then the bolt will go through them, through the middle of this bit, and then into the other bush that's in the other side of the swing arm, if you get me. And I ordered these bits, so these will get welded on the end of the swing arm, and these are for the bushes to go into. I can't quite get them in yet because they need lubing up.
Oh, behave.
They'll go in there like that, and a bolt will go through the 2 of them and through the middle of that as well, and clamp it all down, and that'll do the pivot. Pivot! I'm wondering if you're flipping sick of seeing Ross from Friend. No. I like it. Okay, I've put the scooter back at the ride height that we want it, so it's 3.5 inches from the floor. Now obviously this piece now won't fit in there, so obviously because it's too long, I made it that long to begin with just to make sure we had enough to play with. So now we gotta cut a bit off for that to go back in there. A hell of a lot needs to be cut off, more than that as well, because obviously you don't want this lower than the body of the scooter, because then when the suspension compresses, this will then hit the floor, which we don't want. I can't work out the length that these need to be yet until I can fit them in place. So we'll just cut off a little bit first, then work out the final length of them. Alright, I cut them so that they fit underneath the standard extended steering tube now, and then I've marked it. I measured 3.5 inches upwards, because that's what the Vespa frame is off the deck, and then I added another 1/4 inch onto it, so that should make these a little, you know, 1/4 inch higher up than the Vespa frame. Right, that now I'm hoping is the correct length, otherwise I'm gonna have to make a whole new one again, which I won't be happy about. Yeah, that is now 3 3/4 off the floor, exactly 1/4 inch higher up than that. So if we did hit the floor, that's going to hit first, unless there's like a rock or something. And to be fair, if we hit a rock on this scooter, it's wiping us out anyway. So now that I got my length of my second steering tube extension, I thought that I'll mark out where I got to drill a hole in the bottom of it, because the pipe that I got to get, that I'm going to put the bottom of this for the swing arm pivot, rather than like notch that out, I think it'd be better to drill a hole and slide that tube in. It can't go anywhere then, and then we'll weld it around each side. I'm not going to drill the hole until I got the flipping pipe, because knowing my luck, I'll get a flipping different outer diameter, or I'd have drilled the wrong flipping hole then. I started drilling that hole last night.
Fucking lied to us!
And now, as a ongoing thing in my flipping unit, where things are getting worn out and stuff, and I gotta, you know, bite the bullet and replace some things. Well, I got flipping cone cutters coming out my ass, but they're all knackered now, so I need to get a new set of them. Flipping tips broken off that one. And that's the biggest drill bit I got. Well, what's the outer diameter of this flipping pipe I got? It's 12mm internal diameter, 3mm wall thickness, so it's 15mm in diameter. I ain't got a drill bit big enough for that. And I had a little look online to try and get, I measured it, it's about 7.5 inches long. So I was trying to get like a piece of pipe 8 inches long, just so I got a little bit extra. It's basically, I gotta get it similar width from like there to there. I get awfully confused looking for bushing pipe online to try and get it that long. The longest I could find was 10 centimeters long. If we ordered 2 of them and welded them together, that would equal roundabouts 8 inches. But I didn't really want to weld 2 of them together, so I didn't order them. And then obviously I need a hole drilled in the steering tube extension I've made to accept that outer diameter of that bush. So, after all our rambling, I gave my mate a little ring. He's an engineer, he's got an engineer's shop. His name's Luke as well as my welder. And he said, well, if I haven't got any, I'll just make you some. So I was like, a legend. Why don't I kill a couple of birds with one stone here, and I'll have a look now what other bits I need to be made as well, and you can make all of them in one go. For starters, obviously we need a bit 8 inches long, same as that, same internal, same wall thickness, so I've labelled that for him. And then, yeah, this thing, I've started drilling it, and then that's as far as I got. So I have measured it. It's roundabouts in the vicinity of being accurate. That needs to be drilled for an 8-inch piece of that to go through it. And then I also need, these are the Bergman forks that we don't need anymore, but obviously we're using a Bergman wheel, so the axle bolt that goes through these we're going to be using, because obviously it's the same for the wheel. So we need a set of pipe to weld on the end of our swing arm, same as these two, and they're actually different internal diameters each side. That's a narrow one and that's a slightly larger one. So I'm getting him to make a pair of these as well. Right, a few days have gone by. It is now drilled out. So what he also did, drill that out like I said, for that to go in there now. So that can be welded on. We can weld it around there both sides, and we can weld it in the middle there and in the middle there as well, nicely. Right, that's the beginning of the steering tube welded. So we welded the bar in the bottom, so that's the beginning of our pivot point for the swing arm. Welded the original Vespa steering tube onto an extended piece, onto an even bigger extended piece at a different angle. Now what you didn't see there when Luke was welding was welding the double extended bit on the bottom was actually our fourth attempt at it, because we had to put like a tack on it first just to check it was in the right position. It wasn't, like 3 times. So snap it off, grind that tack off, start again. Basically, I haven't got a flipping clue what I'm doing.
You can say that again, pal.
I'm just winging it and making it up as I go along. I have little to no engineering background. Yeah, when I made that piece and cut it out so it would slide over that bit, it was a bit too big. So it wobbled. You can imagine trying to hold it in place so that it's dead straight with the rest of it. Quite difficult for me. If we had some kind of clamp that could have done it, then that would have been ideal, but I couldn't even think how to do it anyway. So I don't even know if it is straight. So we will find out once it's all done. If it ain't, then that's what oxyacetylene is for. Next step is I'm probably going to grind this bit off, this jutting out the front, so that then I can like cap that off. We'll have some bits coming up to there maybe, or that way. Something basically to connect those bits to that as well, to make it stronger. I reckon once that's ground off as well, we'll probably put a plate across here. I only thought of this today, is when a bush is up against that, imagine that's welded onto the end of our swing arm. I think really I should have like a collar around that area to stop maybe that going, sliding over it or something, moving. So I'm either gonna like weld on some discs onto the end of it, or what I think a better idea is to cut some more of this, notch it out so it fits over this, basically like that, so that it comes to there. And if we want to, we can weld a bit on the end as well, just so that that hole is visible, because that way then, once that is like that, then obviously that can sit up flush against it and not go nowhere. Round about 4 centimeters will be good to make my little triangular pieces. I'll show you what the hell I'm on about in a minute. I'll cut that in the chop saw first, so they're both the same size. Right, so this bit is gonna do this bit right here, so it's gonna continue that on like at that kind of angle there. So I need to cut this in half, kind of thing. I'm not exactly sure how we do this. Well, I'm just gonna flipping eyeball it again and get it completely wrong. I already know it's not gonna fit because, hang on, it's not too bad. It fits that anyway. I don't know what it's like around the other side of it. Actually, I think we're okay. If I had done it really good, I could have curved it around there. Maybe we'll make another one and we'll incorporate that one now. That's why it's good to bugger it up on the first go, so you know how to do it on the second go. But I'm just going to file out a little bit by there, so it fits around the curve of this a bit better, and then hopefully that'll make it go that way a bit more and close this gap up at the back. Okay, it fits, but I think we can use this to make a better one. It goes on there nicely. Obviously, if we were to weld this on, then I'd bevel the edge of it. It fits around there nice where I belt sanded it now. But I think we can get it better. We got that gap by there. So I think if I cut another one, I can continue it onwards a little bit. So we don't have to put another piece in there as well. I just stuck a piece of masking tape over that and drew around it. And then added the bit on that we were missing. And now I've stuck that on another piece now. So there's the bit that was missing. Right, let's have a look at this one then. Number 2. Fits nice enough like that. It goes round the bend. That's much nicer. Now we just gotta make another one. And we gotta bevel the edge on this and that side. And also bevel the edges on that. So that when we weld it, or when Luke welds it, the weld can go in a nice little trench there. I sound like flipping Bob Ross.
And God bless, my friend.
Right, that's both of them done. I've labelled them as well so I don't get them mixed up. They're not flipping identical, but I don't care. Tidy that up a bit more with a belt sander. That's that bit cut out and ground down. I've just made a template to do the piece that's going to face this off. I'm going to do it in 2 separate pieces because of the way I've ground this down. So this one's going to go up there and come to that there. That one. Just doing it out of this bit of steel that, if you remember, I cut it out of the back end of a skyline that was outside, that was full of water. And then I've cut another one to sandwich it going around that way then. That one's cut and shaped and beveled. Bare metaled it as well. So that is going to square that off. And then also tie that bit into these bits as well. So that's beveled around this bit so it slots in there nicely. But what we'll have to do is weld that around there and there first. Once they're welded, then we can clout it with the hammer so that it bends by there. Okay, next thing we need to do, or I need to do, is basically put that on there. Although it needs to be cut down a bit, so it's the same length as that. And then once I've cut that to shape, we need to cut a disc with a hole in it to cap it off, so that then all you can see is that hole there. We need to notch that so that it goes around this. I will admit, I didn't have a flipping clue how to notch pipe before, until a little look on the internet. The easiest way is to do it with a notcher, but if you haven't got a notcher, people who haven't got a notcher and do it this way will probably argue this is the easiest way. And it is pretty easy. When I seen it, I was like, I don't even know how it does it, but there we are. So I'll show you. Right. So bearing in mind, obviously, this is according to if the end of your pipe is straight. So I'm just going to put a bit of tape on there so I can use a pen. This is 1.5 inch pipe. So if you want that to be notched around there, rule of practice is you measure inwards 1/3. So 1/3 of 1.5 inch pipe is 1/4 inch. So first of all, we want to draw a center line, and then we want to measure on that line then. So there's 1/4 inch. Now strictly speaking, you would use some kind of curvy level thing by here to draw a straight line, but I'm just winging it. Draw that so that when you look at it from the dead top, you got a line going vertically all the way, and then you go from the end of your line there to the end of your line here. Any engineers watching this or roll cage builders are going, you're doing it kinda right, mate, but you're doing it so fucking wrong as well. I couldn't be arsed looking on the internet again. This is from days ago, so this is what I remembered of it anyway. So put it in the vise, I would recommend, because I tried to do it earlier by holding it in my hand and I ended up blowing up the flipping disc. Yeah, good job I didn't injure myself. Obviously, get a face shield on. Now we need to cut along with these two lines that we drew out, but make sure we obviously keep the flipping blades straight. We need to cut all the way through. There it is. There's your notch. Now it won't fit amazing straight away, but it'll be close. Flipping hopefully anyway. There's your notch. What you have to do now, you can either use a belt sander or a flipping die grinder. Those inner edges there, we need to file them away so that that's thinner there, so that it can go over the other bit of pipe nicely. And then also these bits, then you will find the inner edge is longer than the outer edge. You need to make it the other way round, or well, level pretty much. So you need to file that so that the inner and the outer lip are the same. To show you what I mean, here's one I done earlier. You can see there, those bits are different to those bits. Also, the ends of these bits are thinner than them ones. Hopefully you get what I mean. And you also might need to flipping file it a bit more in the dip area just to, you know, tweak it. But I mean, it ain't a million miles away already like that. So if we go that one, you see it gets in there a bit tighter.
That's what she said.
There you are. 2 cuts and a little bit of filing and you got a notch. Boom. I nearly made a mistake then, and it was a mistake that I would only find out once Lucas welded it. I was about to trim these. Basically I want them so that the inner pipe is protruding out a little bit, like that. And that one like that. So I can weld the caps on the end, which I've made there. I haven't ground them into perfect circles yet. So that'll go on there like that, and then it'll all get welded together, all nice and looking good. The mistake, hadn't measured what these needed to be first, so I've actually trimmed these down a bit now, bevel the edge as well. So I was cutting these to about 2 mil less than whatever they were, and they were wrong, because if you remember, I had this made and I had it made a little bit too long, just so I had enough to play with. I hadn't taken into account that I needed to trim both of them. Cut these 2 mil shorter, because that is 2 mil thick. So then it should all, I haven't checked it thoroughly yet, I might need a little bit of belt sandering, but yeah, they should all be nice and level now. So yeah, we got all our bits made. I do need to bare metal them to get the rust off and stuff first. I've I coated it all in zinc primer, some of the old weld through stuff. Drew around all the plates with a white pencil, and then I've gone over it with a wire wheel just to take the primer back off again where the welds have got to sit. I mean, it would weld through it, that's his flipping job, but we like to keep it as clean as possible. We just really want the primer where it's gonna get sealed in so it can't rust from the inside out, basically. And I've cut the bits that go on, there we go, on the ends. So I've also beveled them, and I've also beveled the inside hole so that when it goes on there, there's a nice little trench for the weld to go in. Coated on the inside with the zinc primer spray, so of them bits and this bit as well. Another thing I've done is cut another one, zinc primer that, and that is to go on the back side. So that'll go on there just to make it more of a like an oval kind of shape. Whether I grind the welds totally flush or leave visible welds there, I suppose it depends on how good Luke welds there, innit? Luke has been welding away on this steering tube. I got a little bit of footage there, as you saw, but that's all I got because some customers came in and I had to leave him to it, basically. So I couldn't get any more footage of any of the other bits. Yeah, pretty happy with it. That's the back of it. So we got, yeah, pipe going all the way through now, and all you can see is the internal hole. So the bushes aren't going to slide over that now. It's all boxed in at the back. I mean, you can see it boxed in at the bottom there. You got the triangular pieces. Glad I made them a little bit bigger now so that there's no gaps there. A little bit wonky at the top, but I mean, I hadn't trimmed it properly. That was the last piece to go on, and I wasn't available to consult on it, so he just got on with it. It is what it is. I'm sure a little bit of grinding. I mean, maybe you can come back in when we need to do a little bit of welding. You can just stick another little bit of weld there just to aesthetically neaten it up or something. But yeah, I think it turned out well. We got that all nice and strong now. So yeah, it's looking good. I don't think that's gonna flip and break, is it? To finish this video off now, we should get it back fitted on the scooter again. Okay, I've had to jack it up because I won't get it up there at the right angle, otherwise it won't go in. Oh, I haven't put the flipping, the bearing carrier just fell out. In fact, I don't know where the bearing's gone. There we go. Put the nut on the top, and there it is, one semi-finished, modified, extended steering tube. So when I say semi-finished, then yeah, I want to tidy up the welds, grind them down. I think I would prefer this nice and smooth and flush. Obviously you're still going to see welds around these areas and stuff. Yeah, then what else there is to say on that? I mean, what that'll be like when it's all built up, and because if you look at it there, it goes on a funky angle, but I suppose the Simpson Schwalbe does that as well, because that's the design I've copied. Obviously that's only for flipping, turning it around in small spaces and stuff. When you're riding along, the majority of your steering is from leaning, isn't it? How much this will be able to lean, I don't know though, being 3.5 inches off the floor. Might have to have some little skid plates on the side or something, just so things don't dig in, innit? And we don't end up in the stingies. But yeah, that's our modified steering tube done. That's stage 1 done, I reckon. As always, let me know what you think. If you liked it, let me know. If you don't like it, pop that in the comments as well. If you got any suggestions on things I could have done differently or better, or the way I should have done it, let me know that as well. If you got any questions, pop them in the comments. If you are liking the build, consider subscribing so you don't miss any videos then. You don't have to though, don't worry about it. The main thing is that you're watching it. So thank you very much for that, and I will catch you in the next one.